Hey, good day to you. This is Todd. I'm just a regular dude walking in the Word. We're working our way through Psalm 23, and the phrase that we're talking about today in Psalm 23 is, "Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me." Okay? So we're going to be talking about the rod and the staff. Psalm 23 says this, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death," that's what we talked about yesterday, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup runs over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. The shepherd carried with him the rod and the staff. Today, this is more like a rod here, my rod that I use. And then also I have, but today, the modern day shepherd would probably just be carrying his rifle, okay? And so he would be carrying the rifle and using that as protection. And so the sheep, if they see that he's carrying the rifle and saw the damage that has done in the past, they're probably going to be comforted by that, okay? So because that you can pick off predators from quite a ways away and protect those sheep, okay? Back in the days when this was written, the shepherd carried around his rod and his staff. The rod was not the aluminum baseball bat, but it was a stick that they had made, and they had formed it into their hand. And a good shepherd could wield the thing around and protect his sheep. So the rod was used for several things, and I'm going to go through those things that the rod was used for. The rod was used as really an extension of the shepherd. So you couldn't reach something or grab onto something. That rod was there, and he was always holding onto it, and easily do that. Also, the rod was used to examine and count the sheep. So the sheep would be coming along, and he'd have his rod there, and he'd just be guiding the sheep along. And keep in mind here, if you are using a baseball bat, if I'm walking down the street with a baseball bat in a rough area of town, you might be afraid of me. But imagine with me, you're a little league baseball player, and your coach is carrying around a baseball bat. He's not whacking people with a baseball bat. He's guiding people, and he'll be going, "Hey, Billy, go over there to third base." And then he said, "You out there on left field, get over here." And he's pointing and using this as an extension, this baseball bat. And so it's the same way. The sheep know that the rod is not a thing of harm to the sheep, okay? And the shepherd will use this rod also as to guide the sheep. If a sheep is getting out of line, he can just toss it over there, and like he's getting too close to the cliff or something, toss it over there, and the sheep will be like, scared and get out of the way and get into safety there. And then finally, the rod is an instrument of protection. So, David would have used this a lot. So if an animal or predator is coming along, so let's say I have a raccoon coming attacking the chickens. If I come out with this, the raccoon pretty much takes off. But if I give that raccoon a good whack with this, it's going to remember, hopefully, and not come back around. So that rod was used as protection. So that's the rod that the shepherd used. And then you have the staff, okay? So the staff was an instrument that was used. It was a stick. I used to have one that I had made up, and it had a bend to it, a kind of a crook to it. So that staff was used, and it was used also to guide the sheep. And it was often a long, slender stick, often with a crook or hook on the end. It is selected with care by the owner, and it is shaped, smoothed, and cut to the best suit his own personal style. Okay, so he would use this staff to kind of draw the sheep together. He'd be walking along and gathering the sheep together, and it was a kind of extension of his arm again, and using that to guide the sheep along. And then also, in the same way, as he was guiding the sheep, if a sheep got into trouble and like fell off of a cliff or something, he could grab onto that sheep with that crooked end and grab onto it and pull it back or up or whatever, and guide the sheep with that. And so he was able to use that staff in that way. So he carried the rod and the staff. And the thing I want you to see from this is the shepherd, when he was carrying that, the sheep knew they were safe from that because he had those weapons at his hand. So when I was in Africa and we went into different places, there was armed guards with us, and I knew we were safe because if some bad guys came out and tried to kill us, well, we were going to be in a firefight, and these were trained soldiers that were really good, and we were always safe. So because they're armed and ready to go. It wasn't like they were walking around and like, oh no, someone's shooting at us. Now what am I going to do? I don't have a gun. No, these guys had guns and plenty of them. Okay, and they were well equipped to protect us. So in the same way, God is well equipped to protect you and to guide you along the way. So anyway, that's about the rod and the staff. They comfort me. Thanks for watching. I'm just a regular dude walking in the Word, and I'll see you tomorrow as we continue our journey through Psalm 23. Blessings.